and welcome to Neat and Not by the Sea, Floss Tube video number 27, 26, who knows. It is Tuesday, the 29th of March 2022, and welcome. We are filming from Port Chalmers in Dunedin, New Zealand. I'm Victoria.
Kia ora, I'm Catherine, and my pronouns are she, her.
Right, so if you are new to the video, welcome. If you're returning, welcome. If you've if it has accidentally started after your previous video has ended, welcome.
I'm a little bit giddy.
Why are you giddy?
Life. I did not do my hair today, so you get to enjoy my wrap, which I used to wear quite often. I don't anymore.
Oh,
So anyway.
looks great.
Yeah. So, live chat.
Live chat. Okay, so what have we done the last 2 weeks? You and I have had a couple of catch-up stitches, which were just at people's places because it's too poor to go out.
Well, that and also, you know.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's so true. That was me. That I was like, I have not got $1.
Yeah, it
Victoria.
was just a tight week or fortnight.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever.
What else have we been up to? Work is working along. We managed, both of us, I think, have managed to binge season 2 of Bridgerton.
Oh yes, we'll talk about that later.
Yes, we both have very different opinions, surprisingly. What else have we been up to? I went up to Maraki, which is a beach about an hour's north of Dunedin, and caught up with my brother and sister-in-law there for lunch. It was very nice. Had a walk on the beach, took the dogs down.
Moiraki. So Moiraki is a village, but next to the village, or kind of in the village, there are the Moiraki boulders, which are a geological.
Yeah, if you ever come to New Zealand, the bus will want to stop there, so you can have a look.
But the fun fact is that it's in the top 5 things to see in New Zealand,
Really?
which is hilarious. If you come to New Zealand on holiday and you have to choose between Moiraki boulders and something actually good, choose the actually something good.
Yeah.
Unless you're doing geology at university and it's your passion, in which case go to the Moiraki boulders.
Yeah.
And you might see dolphins there actually. I know people have seen
Oh.
like a school of dolphins doing the porpoising. Look at me, married to
you.
Martin, knowing terminology.
Oh, that's Flash.
Yes, but that's a lovely little village. I do enjoy it.
It is a lovely little village. We used to stay there quite a bit. So that's been me for the last 2 weeks, really. Crafting, watching telly, and doing
Working.
Working, yeah.
Yeah. What have I been doing? Okay, so I saw my youngest, which was very lovely. I saw her twice actually. I saw her on Friday. We had lunch.
Nice.
And that was very lovely. And it felt very grown up because there was conversation. I didn't feel like I was extracting yeses and nos. You know how it is sometimes.
Yep.
With the youth. So it was so lovely to see her. And we had lunch. We had sushi, which we both love. Yeah, so we didn't spend that long. I think we could have spent longer together, but I felt like I didn't want to be clingy mum. With hindsight, I could have stayed longer. But anyway, we had a lovely time. And then yesterday, I actually went into work, and I was on my way somewhere at the university, and mama eyes were like, that's my child.
I hope you yelled out her name and thoroughly embarrassed her.
No, I saw her, and she was doing like, I'm a perfect student thing. The sun was out, there was the grass, she was sitting on the grass with her friend, they were having ice cream, so it was so lovely.
Aww.
And because I only speak to her in Spanish, I said, can I come up to you and say hello? And she was like, yeah. So I got 2 hugs. I got
nice.
hello hug and goodbye hug.
Nice.
It was weird because I always give her a kiss. We're from Peru. And I was wearing my mask. She was not wearing her mask, but I was wearing my mask. And anyway, I was allowed to approach her because she was with a friend of hers that I've known since she was 5.
Did you have to text her to ask if you could approach her? Or did
No,
you
I
just...
hollered.
You
What
hollered.
am I
Oh, you did. Excellent. Excellent.
I mean, I hollered from not too far, and I was with Max, who Christina knows, and so she gave me a hug and everything, and she was like, hi, Max. It was so lovely. And then when I saw Martin, I was like, guess what? I saw
Highlight
my
of your
baby.
day.
It really was. And he was like, it's so easy to make you happy. I was like, I know.
Excellent.
So that was super lovely. So, you know, if you have children that have just left home to go to university, you know what I'm talking about, right? So I did that. And then my other highlight was I went to Stitch Kitchen. So I'll talk about that at the end when we were doing craft pantry. So that was really good. And then I had something super exciting happen, which has been kind of brewing for a couple of weeks.
Did I know about this?
Yes, you're just not connecting the dots, Victoria.
Yeah, there's nothing unusual there.
I got interviewed. Oh, sorry, my phone. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's my baby, and I'm like, I'm torn.
Put it away.
Okay, my baby. I think she's okay though. Yes, I got interviewed for the Otago University Bulletin. So they're doing a series of interviews around people's secret lives. So staff members' secret lives. So there is one about a staff member, and I do know them, and they do hang gliding.
Oh, cool.
Not as cool as me though.
But there's nothing secret about your life.
Oh, lots of people don't know.
Yeah.
So my interview was all about my making. So that was really lovely, and it went out on Friday, I think, and I got lots of people.
It's a very good article.
Lots of people sent me the article like I hadn't known about it. It was very cute. So yeah, it was lovely.
My comment about your life not being secret was more to the fact that whenever you see Catherine out and about, she's got at least 2 crafts with her, just in case.
I do.
Yeah.
Although I did cart 2 projects to work yesterday, and I did manage to do one in a tea break and one at lunch. So I felt
excellent.
Very
vindicated.
justified.
Take it. Yeah. Excellent.
Oh my god, the dog. Oh,
She's all right.
she's very windy.
Oh.
We love her though. It's excitement of seeing Victoria. Anyway, so that was great. I felt very famous. So I'm world famous in Otago University.
Yeah.
They say that.
World famous at work.
Is that something we say in my house, or is it a New Zealand thing? World famous in New Zealand.
I think it's a New Zealand thing. It was a New Zealand advertising campaign at one stage.
Okay. So I'm world famous in a small university in New Zealand. So yeah, that was it.
I think it was an L&P ad actually.
Was it? I don't.
Fizzy drink.
I wouldn't know. Oh, that's a horrible drink. See, you can always tell if you're born in New Zealand.
Yeah, it's like
because there are all these things.
It's a great drink.
Oh no. Anyway.
To crack on.
Yes.
All right.
Oh,
So
we should say we did manage to post the parcel as well.
Oh, we did. Yes.
Like 3
Finally.
weeks late. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's on its way.
Yes.
Which is great.
Yeah, so
So
that's good.
Catherine took a little video of what we sent. So once it's been confirmed that Kathleen has received it, we will attach the video to what we to one of our floss tubes, so you can see
Just to
what we
show
got.
you what we got.
All right.
right.
So let's start with the most impressive. Catherine, do you have any fully finished objects?
I do.
No, wait, it's even better. Catherine, do you have more than one fully finished
I
object?
I do. So for everybody that watches that is not from New Zealand, doesn't live in New Zealand, we have a phrase here which is number 8 wired, which means you didn't have the right tools and you really didn't have the right equipment, but somehow you managed to fix something.
You made it work.
You made it work. And I think it's the fact that, you know, New Zealand's so far away from the world, you know, you didn't have everything at your fingertips. And you just, using a number 8 wire, which is the thickness, I think it's a 4mm thickness, you would somehow fix things. So anyway, welcome to my number 8 wired project. So I finished this. Oh,
I'll let her out.
Let her out. And she's staying out now. So I managed to finish my, what was this called, Victoria?
Miss Bingley's library.
Miss Bingley's library. So this is the library project, Miss Bingley's project, where I changed all the colours because I felt like it. They're DMC and I don't know the colours. And then I added an inclusive pride flag at the top. And then I added Spanish because my life is bilingual. And then, not only did I not follow the rules, but then, can you see how there is more space here than there? I love that so much. I was actually thinking of adding a strip of fabric I thought that would be fun.
Well, that would have been cool.
But it would add effort, so I didn't.
Yeah.
But I just love the fact that it's off center. It makes my heart sing. So what I did is, through my job, I actually scored a number of these old oak, I presume they're oak frames, they look like oak, that were being thrown out. So I think I've got about 12 or something like that, and I never used them. But because I have the most expensive mitre saw in the history of women that actually don't do a lot of building work, and totally the best thing to have good tools. So I actually cut it down to size at the bottom. Then I bought some filler, which I haven't got here to show you, but I bought some filler and I just filled the sides. But the other thing that I did that was like magic, and where have I put it, Victoria? I talked about
underneath the book thing there, and then lift up that green bag.
Yeah. Okay, so I knew this because I used to do stained glass windows I actually did it in the UK and in New Zealand. I knew how to cut glass, so I went to Mitre 10, which is our big building trades shop, and I bought myself a glass cutter. I did go for the cheapest because I think the difference seemed to be that you'd have more wheels. So I've just got one wheel here. I'm not going to cut glass very often. So anyway, and it worked out. And because I am from Peru and I'm all about sustainable and green and don't judge, I used cardboard for the back because that will compost. So I was happy about that. And so that's it. So the thing that inspired me to do this was Kim from Contented Stitcher. So two things inspired me. One was getting something framed for $120 each. Small things. So I was like, I'm not doing that again. And the other thing was Kim just saying how she does that. And all her frames look lovely. So I thought, I'm going to do that. And I still have to do some figuring out. Like I've just got it sellotaped at the back. But I want to buy that broad actual framing tape that you just wet and put down. And I do want to buy some sort of wax to put on this. So Victoria is onto something that she knows of something, so she's going to let me have a look. And then I've got a little pot in my pantry now. Well, the second pantry, which has all the DIY stuff as well. My little pot of framing things.
Excellent.
It's really good.
Excellent.
So I'm very happy with this.
Where are you going to hang it?
I don't know. Oh yeah, fun fact. So I'm telling Martin at the dinner table, because all my stuff's here and we're having dinner at the table. And he's trying to be interested. And he was like, oh yeah, well done, good job. How old is it? I was like, the frame? And then he's got the eyes like, what have I said? So he had forgotten that I had embroidered this myself, and he was wondering which antique shop I'd bought it from.
Lovely. Lovely.
And it was his time to wash up anyway, so he didn't get any punishment. But I was like, oh, for God's sakes. And the thing is, it's got Spanish.
Yeah,
like,
and a pink door.
What are the chances? Anyway, not interested.
For those of you who are interested, that's the pattern. It's Plum Street Samplers, Miss Bingley's library.
And if Victoria got her skates on, we would be able to do a compare and contrast, but you've kind of forgotten your project.
No, I haven't. I remember I had 2 lines on it last week. 2 whole lines, Catherine. 2 whole lines.
Flipping finished. Anyway, I'm very pleased with that. Please come to me for framing advice.
Oh.
So that was one.
Catherine, do you have another fully finished object?
I do. So this is my... Oh, no, I didn't bring the staff. So this is...
It's Mary Hill.
It's Mary Hill. So this is Mary Hill, 1773. And I made it into a pincushion. So you will remember that this is the one that I got from that library book, where whoever had it had fun, and they mixed the colours, the lines are not straight, the numbers are upside down.
There's no gap between the words.
It's just blooming marvellous. I love it. It was like made for me. So I've done this with your Antarctic ice fabric that you had given me. I don't know if Victoria actually gave it to me or I just kind of like insinuated myself. I ended up with it.
I gave it to you. I said, would you use this? And you were like, yes.
Like that. So anyway, super happy with how it ended. And then I had an idea right from the beginning that I wanted to expose leftover threads. So these are all the bits of guff that I end up with. So I have a jar, which is not here, where I put all my orts and my leftover bits of fabric from quilting. So then I separated lots of ends of threads, and I wanted to expose it. I did post this on Instagram, so it feels like I'm repeating myself.
And you've put it...
But the thing that I wanted to use is, and I figured out where it was from. So I think it's one of the big knitting websites in the UK. When you buy yarn, they put them in these organza bags, and they're not natural. They're a synthetic organza, whatever. And I've now seen that you can tick the box to not get it in organza bags, which is fabulous, because that wasn't there initially when I bought years ago. So, you know, it looks very pretty when it arrives, but, you know, it's not good for the environment. It's actually not necessary. It actually doesn't last. It's not a good product. So I was just irritated. I kept using it for other things, but it drove me insane. I was irritated. It drew me. It made me feel irritated. So you can't tell, but this fabric underneath is a very vibrant turquoise, but because it's got the organza on top with the threads, it's kind of muted it. And then that's one of the fabrics that I often use as a second-hand bed sheet that I bought second-hand, then we used as a bed sheet, and now I use for quilting. And it's been filled with all my ends of fabric, so it's super lumpy. It's like, come to me for pincushion advice as well. Love it. It's made for my personality.
Well
That's
done.
it. So that's 2 FFOs, fully finished objects.
Yes. Now, do you have any finished... Oh, I have no fully finished objects.
Well,
but do you have any finished objects, Catherine?
I don't think so, but I think I know someone that does.
Maybe someone does. All right. So I have done very little other projects this week because for some reason I thought I had about 2 days left on this. Turned out I had about 10. But look, it's done. So this is Autumn Quaker by Rosewood Manor, done with the called for Valdani threads on a 32 count something. And it's done.
Look at so Victoria has put like so much of herself into this, and I'm like, oh, cute V, and I love your number. It is a very pretty number with 1 thread.
Yeah, and it was part of the pattern, but I just changed the date to the date was last year because I was stitching on it. So
that's when you started it.
yeah. So let's do a close up, eh?
Right, whilst you're doing your close up, I will let the dog in because she's whinging.
And it's done, and I'm so pleased to have it. So now I've got to start on the other 3 seasons.
Good girl. Go to your place.
Well done. And it's beautiful colours, and it's all very autumnal, and
It is super lovely.
I feel very pleased for having finished it.
And maybe the idea is that you finish it in the season that you're in.
Yeah, that is true. So, and I can tell you how long I spent on that because of my handy dandy notebook.
Oh, yes.
So I started it on the 26th of April 2021 and I finished it on the 26th of March 2022.
That's
So
almost a year. That's
11 months.
amazing. It's really great that you keep track of things.
yeah. So I'm super pleased with that.
Great. That makes me think, have you started anything new, by the way?
Have I? No, because Catherine and I may have ordered some things.
Ah, okay.
So I'm just trying to clear the decks for...
I'm going to disappear before we do craft pantry because I've got a couple of things that I bought that we haven't shown,
That's okay.
I think.
So, whips.
Work in progress. I've got loads, so maybe I'll start with the one which is a Sal.
Excellent.
So I'm doing a stitch along with Ella from Spectrum Stitcher. She must be getting due for another episode. I do have a few that I do look forward to watching. So I'm doing this on a 36 count raw natural. So this is Edinburgh. It's called And a Forest Grew.
Also a Rosewood Manor Pro pattern.
Yep. Oh, look, all my little bits that are hanging left over still. I reuse them when I think, oh, I only need 2 stitches, because the whole point of this Sal is, our hashtag is with what you've got Sal, or with what you have Sal. So I'm not following the colours they suggest. What I did at the beginning is I would look at the pattern and try and match visually what I had. But what I'm now doing is I'm looking at what I've already done and trying to make sure that the colors are spread out, that I don't have all dark and then all light, like that they're getting mixed. So I do 5 per week, and I'm supposed to do them on Friday, and twice now I haven't done them on Friday, but I did catch up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's looking very balanced. You were saying about the colours.
The colours, yeah.
So it's looking great.
Yeah, so my little trick is, because I have a lot of threads, you'll remember that I was given a lot of secondhand threads. So this is my bag of threads that I've already used. So I dip in here first for a new colour.
Yeah.
It's getting a little bit messy. Oh, Martin's gone to a little house homework already. I should have asked him to bring me the pegs back. It's getting a little bit messy. I need to have a tidy. But I'm really enjoying it. But the reason I'm working across is because I really want to get to the Mahusive tree. I'm very excited about that. It's not going to be brown. I haven't decided what it's going to be, but I want it to be something like a big pop of something. Very excited.
Excellent. It's looking great.
If I didn't say, it's designed by Karen Kluber. It's a lovely pattern. You know, apart from the robot tree, which is just like a robot tree. Somebody else said, oh yeah, I can't unsee the robot tree. That's the robot tree. So it's super great. I love this pattern. So I've been enjoying that.
Excellent.
Oh, yes. What else have you been working on?
So the other one is the Stitching
yes.
Book Club Narnia, which the 3rd and final part has just come out. This is part 2. So I have got as far as finishing part 2. You guys, I'm loving the colours in this. It's really pretty. I like the sparkly fabric, even though it's probably very uneco-friendly.
The thing that surprised me is that that time that I went to your house was the first time that I really noticed this sparkle. I hadn't been able to see it, but there's actually a lot of
There's a lot of sparkle in it. It's not something I think the camera picks up so much.
No.
But in real life, it's very pretty. And the finish, I think I can show this because it's all over Instagram if you are so inclined.
Is it called for sparkle?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
The only thing I changed is I'm doing it on a linen rather than a sparkly Ada, an opalescent. And that's the end. So I've just got to do the picture of Mr. Tumnus and the light post and the bottom bit. And she'll be done. So hopefully that will be an FO for next week.
Let me have a look. See, this is terrible because we have listened to the audiobooks of Narnia. And it just goes to show what I shut out. Because I don't remember a single thing of this.
Do you not? Because Mr. Tumnus, central figure in Lion Witch the Wardrobe.
Like the name doesn't ring a bell. I know there's
He's a fawn.
Oh yeah, the fawn thing, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, we had, you know when children are little, so this is the first batch, so my stepchildren, we had a set of
Audiobooks.
CDs.
Yep.
And they go on a loop.
Yeah.
Like, their capacity to listen to things over and over and over is incredible.
We had a BBC audiobook version on tape, and we didn't have any other tape, so that was what was in the car for a good 3-4 years.
No wonder you
The
were
long
keen.
trips. It was great.
There is someone on Instagram that talks about this. She left us a message saying that she hadn't done something.
She was working on it too, but she hadn't quite finished.
Is it Lindy Cross Stitch? Lindy X Stitch?
I can't remember. I'm not good with names.
I'm terrible with names. This just looks bad now.
For those of you who are
Sorry.
working on it, I hope you're progressing well.
Right.
So that will be my aim for this fortnight, is to get that 3rd part finished.
And it did seem to go quickly when we were together. You did quite a bit in one go.
It's an easy stitch so far.
Yes.
Although with this 3rd part being the picture, a lot more counting and less mirroring of what's happened on the other side, which always makes things go a bit faster.
Yeah. So what else have I got? Okay, so I have also been working on this, which is the Mexican sampler, which I love. So this is a Mexican sampler that's in a museum in Mexico, but it was charted by Yanni Stitcher. And even if you don't have like Spanish language connection or Mexican connections, there's a lot of English language samplers. Do a Spanish one.
Yeah, mix it up.
Mix it up a bit. It's great. I love it. I particularly love mine because it's blue, and I think that works really well. See? Talent and modesty all in one beautiful package.
Your hidden life, Catherine.
Anyway.
Oh, you made amazing progress.
I did that, which I loved. What's to say? It was very straightforward, very repetitive, very, like, these bits, super intuitive, and, you know, you just got into a rhythm, so it was quite quick, and then this was quite quick, and that was quite quick. Of course, you know me, I did not count. I was like, roughly here, and then like, roughly there.
Yeah, Catherine has only just, well, informed me in the last fortnight that she's not counting between the motifs, and she's just like, oh yeah, that'll do.
Yeah, the thing is, right, I know we laugh at each other, but it's curious to me that people count.
It's hilarious, but where I was putting my one initial in the middle of that ring in an Autumn Quaker, I got my print out, I got my pencil out, and I worked out where the middle of the circle was, or the middle of the initial that was in the pattern, and then where the centre of the V was, and where it would have to line up to be in the same position.
And then she got a little laser gun, and she pointed it at it just to double check. Nah, I'm not into that. But it does amuse me that you would do that. And the more amusing thing is when I tell Victoria that I haven't counted, and her face.
It looks fabulous.
Can you tell that I didn't count? No, you can't. Anyway, I love it. And my back, you know.
Beautiful.
Follow me for advice on how to make pretty bags.
Are you still doing, you were going to try the method where you start the thread from the front. Has that been successful for you?
Oh, for crying out loud, this dog.
Do you want me to let her out?
Yes. Let her out, she's not coming back in. Oh gosh, no, we haven't fed her.
You haven't fed her?
That's what it is.
Do you want me to pause the video?
No, when I finish this, I'll feed her. Bless her. Oh, poor Cheetah. I forgot about my method. What I had been trying to do was the little method where you hide a half stitch inside.
Oh, okay.
That did not work for me. Even I thought it was untidy. So now I completely forgot. But I am doing who cares about the bag? And I've got lots long tails and stuff.
Excellent.
But anyway, it's a lovely pattern. I'm really enjoying it. And I am trying, I'm trying to focus on finished chunks at a time. Well, I say that. I finished a chunk. So it's not like a life roll. Okay, and now, do you have something to show?
I do.
Great,
Quickly,
I will go and
be
feed
very
my
quick.
dog. No, be slow about it, Victoria.
Okay,
so many details to share.
So then I'll start talking about Bridgerton, and we can.
No, because I want to hear what you said, because we didn't talk about it enough.
So, excuse me. I have also been working in this fortnight on a peacock, a badger, and a peacock, a unicorn, and a badger by the Scarlet Letter. I think quite a few people are doing this one, or it might just seem that way because I am following the hashtag on Instagram. So it comes up on my feed a lot. I didn't get as much of this done as I was hoping to, but I managed to. What have we got? I've worked up some thickness on this trunk of the tree, and some of the vine is going too. So it's coming along, and it's not a hard stitch, this one. I'm quite enjoying it. So I think I will keep this one out and work on it in the next fortnight as well. It'll carry over because I would like to get to the top of the tree. So at the moment, I went down. So that's the bottom motif at the bottom. There's maybe 2 stitches below that.
Twice.
Did I?
The bottom motif at the bottom.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to fill in space while you faff around feeding your dog. So I want to get to the top of the top. But it's going to be most of that fat quarter.
I want to have a look anyway.
Ah,
Let's have a look. Paul, it's because I sent Martin to Waikouaiti. Normally he feeds her. Oh my god, I love this.
So I'm just showing Catherine. I've thickened that up and I've done this bony bit.
Great.
So it's good. It's coming along.
Fabulous.
Now, what about you? You got any more whips?
Yes. Oh my god. I've got more uncounted stuff. Oh my god, maybe the clue is in the title. This is counted cross stitch. Okay, following on with uncounted cross stitch. I have been working on, you know about this.
I know, but I love this one.
His Eye is on the Sparrow.
Heartstring Samplery.
Yes, which is fabulous. Muted colours. and of course we're not going to follow that. I have made the cartouche.
It's so pretty.
And I have boldly said that I will finish it in 2022.
Oh yeah, because that's not your start date, is it?
When did I start it?
Last year, so
Yeah,
2021.
Does it look like I care? No, but I think I will finish it this year. And because if you look at it, I have...
You are tearing through it.
Yes, I'm a bit obsessed. I have orange door, and I have a blue line here and a blue line there, you can see. And I was like, is it going to be too much to have a blue cartouche with orange writing? And I was like, that is just too delicious to not do.
Excellent.
So I did orange and blue, and then the cartouche I started... So, okay, so I'll come clean. So the houses aren't exactly right.
Because Catherine's doing her unique version of Uncounted cross stitch.
Yeah. So I knew the houses weren't quite right because my life, which is fine. I want unique. I'm not interested in perfection. But of course, then I was guided by the house to see when I had to start somewhere. So what happened was that when I got to the other end, it didn't match. But that's okay, because I added some little stitches.
It looks good too. It looks like it's always meant to be there.
That's right. So I'm really happy with that. And also, as a nod to the quilter in me, I added 2 little quilted stars.
Pretty.
Because, of course, the designer has 3 initials, and I only had 2. I also wasn't counting. So then there was too much space here. I thought, I'll put 2 little quilted stars, and they're actually 2 different ones. This one's got a filled-in center, and this one has a little gap in the center. And I think they're beautiful. Love them so much.
They are gorgeous. That is looking stunning.
Love it. So yeah, making progress. This is still the project I have to go, like, Catherine,
You got to
put
put
it
it away. Yeah.
Put it away, I tell you.
Otherwise, you'll be like Tori this week, who only has 3 projects to show.
Yeah, but it's not that I need to, like, work on all my projects. It's more that I don't want to, like, get behind with my Sal.
Yeah.
That's really the thing. Am I supposed to have more than one Sal? I'm not, am I?
No.
At the moment, just one.
No.
Yeah.
Can we say that Catherine has been looking to get not a companion, but the sister.
It is yeah.
There's a companion one, which is Consider the Lilies, also from Heartstring Samplery, but to my knowledge, it's still not in stock at 123. So do you tell me how you found
It's
it?
not in stock in quite a few shops that I know of online. So I've looked in lots of shops. They don't have a physical copy. But I was watching a Floss tube, and they mentioned... I tell you who it was. It was Rachel.
Oh, from Linen and Flax.
Yes. And she was saying that she just bought these mugs from this designer. And I was like, I did not know she had a website. And it turns out I did, because I remember looking at it months ago. But I went back, and she had it to download.
Yeah.
So Mel in Tasmania, we're selling that one. We need to think of a name. So this is me giving you notice. I hope you're still watching. I thought it might be fun to do something like Across the Sea Sal, or something like that. Island to Island Sal. I don't know. Let's do something quirky. But I'm being a grown up. I'm waiting until payday. On payday, which is, I've got another week to wait. I'll buy it.
So really encourage designers to put your stuff out in PDF form. It makes it so much easier.
Yes, because also I'm buying And the Forest Grew for a friend of mine, but they would rather have a digital copy, but it doesn't exist in digital copy. So we have to wait until the pattern arrives, and then I'll buy it in paper form for her. And that's just annoying on lots of levels, because we wouldn't have to pay postage. I mean, she already would prefer a digital one. We wouldn't have to pay postage. And on top of that, we have to wait because it's out of stock.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is great. If you've been thinking about His Eyes on the Sparrow, don't hesitate. It's such a fun pattern. Love it.
Excellent.
Love it.
So do you have any more? I'm all done.
Yeah, no, I have more.
I'm just here for the bents now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's coming. Bridgerton's coming. Yeah, Kim, you were right. Kim from Cataloguing My Stitches.
What did she say?
She was like, Catherine, please, you'll watch us as it comes out.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so this is the Friends and Family mystery. That's no longer a mystery, from 2020, I think it was.
From Linen and Threads.
And what is it? Oh, I finished this such a long time ago. I can't remember where it was.
You've got the whole square.
Oh, yeah.
That's new.
Oh, yes, I know.
I didn't even get a text about that.
Oh, didn't I?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was like moving on to the next thing. So the square is done.
You must got what, 2
Love
motifs
it.
left?
There's 2 pages.
Wow.
So what I did this time... Oh, God, what did I do this time? It was that one, wasn't it? No, it was this one. It was that, with that, and that, and that.
That looks phenomenal.
I love this so much, but I do think... I don't know. Do we have any quirky watches that, like, turn them into clothing? I just, like, how many framed pieces do you need? I don't think I need any. So I'm thinking this would be fantastic as a blouse. I could do it down here. I could do it... I don't know. Anyway, I'm thinking about it, but I do love it. I think it's beautiful.
It is stunning.
So, again, I don't know if it's available as a freebie anymore, because they take them down after a while. They clean up their website. So they had about 4 years there when we discovered them.
Yeah. But I think you can purchase the previous ones if they have been taken down.
Yeah. And what did I do for the sides? I don't think the sides match. We talked about that, remember?
Yeah.
But I'm not bothered. Actually, what I might have done is when the... Yeah, I think one of the sides doesn't match, but I took a line off.
Ah, so it lines up still.
So it lines up, yeah. Not that I'm
Nice.
bothered. I mean, no one's going to get their ruler out, are they? It's only Victoria that checks my work.
Oh yeah, did you put the birdie in?
What birdie?
Remember you had
Oh,
one, you thought you'd
I
finished.
fussed around, yes.
And I said, no, you're not finished.
Okay, so here, I had missed this. And this was the bit that I was telling you, that I did it from the picture because I couldn't find my chart. So I like guess designed.
Well done, it looks great.
And then between the birds, they're not centered like they should be. I've gone patriarchal, and the male bird
Ooh.
is taller than the female bird.
Why do you call that one the male bird and the other one female?
Because I've gone patriarchal. I've gone like, you know, old-fashioned ideas of like a taller man than a woman, and they must be older. And just by calling me out, that is not funny. Anyway, I just put a little dot in there. So I was like, oh yes, there is something there. Boop.
Lovely.
And I added this one as well, which is an amended one. Oh my God, I've just seen something. That's not what it is, but it looks like that. But I'm not sharing. So anyway, that's another lovely thing. And we have talked about how I am into the massive projects.
Yes, we've decided that Catherine definitely likes the larger ones better than the smaller ones.
Yep. So I'm excited about that. Maybe I'll finish it this time around.
I reckon you could.
Maybe I'll finish the motifs, but not the initials.
Yeah, because you were saying you were hoping to have it finished by this week, but then
Yeah.
quickly realised that there was just a bit too much there if you also wanted to progress other things.
Because it just seemed like to make a push but not get the initials done, it was like, I might as well not bother. So that. And this is the last cross-stitch thing that I have. And I actually want to know people's opinions on this.
Ooh.
So my first question is, does anyone have this book? So that's one question, if you can let me know. The second question is, the people that have this book, have you made anything from it? Because I suddenly thought, oh gosh, this is the sort of book that people have and they mean to make something from it and then they never do. Because there was that little gap, there was that little leap in the instructions that I had to do.
Yeah.
So that was one thing. The other thing, and I do love the book and I love the project and I'm continuing, but very unlike me, I blindly followed what they asked me to do, which was to outline all the shapes in the gold thread. And so I blindly outlined all the shapes. Actually, in the instructions it said up and down. Did
Yeah,
say
that's it, up and down.
Forward and backward. Anyway, I read it as an up and down, like almost like a quilting stitch. Well, it turns out that they wanted a back stitch. So I've gone back and I have filled in with back stitch and I'm doing the lot.
You can't see
from
it,
there.
but it's pretty full, that piece of fabric
Right.
you've got.
So I've like all the pieces I'm back stitching now. Okay, so just bear the idea in mind. And if I show you this, you can see how it's exposed. So that there'll be a fold in the fabric and you'll be able to see that gold. Well, now that I look at it, I'm thinking, I don't really like it.
So you're going to unstitch it?
I'm not sure, because I thought, you know what? If I was going to see all that, I would want to see turquoise, not gold. I actually don't think it looks very attractive to my taste. I'm not very into gold. So I was thinking, well, A, it's a lot of work. Like, do I want all this gold, or would I feel happier if it showed turquoise or orange or like one of, or shocking pink? I don't know.
But you could always do your joining stitch in the turquoise, I think, because I think you also see where you stitch them together.
But what you see is the horizontals.
Yeah, I think you do see the horizontals.
Yeah, you're just trying to put a like happy twist on this.
Yeah, I'm just trying to say, all is not lost and don't redo it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not bothered about redoing, but I'm not sure I'm not being picky. Like, it's a case of like, Catherine, just do it like this, and it actually looks perfectly fine when it's done. I mean, the good thing is that I wouldn't have realised that I'm not really into this gold unless I've done it. So I've done it.
Well, you've only gone back to full stitch or whatever, back stitch half of them. Why don't you put the turquoise so it's a golden turquoise?
Oh, Lord, no.
No.
I don't think so.
I'll just go home.
Because I think what I don't like is I don't like the texture of gold thread. And the other thing that happens is that when you sew with it, sometimes it splits. And,
Yes.
And because you're going to have to bend it, then you can see there's like bits that appear white, not gold. See, it's just like a whole...
Yes, I'm sure. The
Yes.
dramas of metallic thread, eh?
Yeah, but I'm not talking from a, like, it's a faff to use. Like, I'm totally
Yeah, but
on
as a
board
look,
with
it is also a...
Yeah, and so I've just been thinking about what it is that I want from this. Because my aesthetic runs to more towards a less refined look. I'm more into indigenous crafts than I'm into high fashion sort of look. And it's a gold sort of sits in high fashion, and I'd rather it look like beautiful Mexican or Peruvian colourful, you know?
Yeah.
So anyway, if you've done this project, it would be great if you left me a comment. And if you've done it and you've used gold, and you leave me a comment, and then I can find you on Instagram, and maybe you've posted it, and on it goes. Maybe I should check a hashtag to see if they have willing hands.
They probably do.
I'll check that. I have a suspicion that people, which is perfectly fine, that people
Buy
buy
the pretty
these books
book.
for inspiration, like in general, as opposed to actually doing them. So I don't know. Every time I look at it, I'm like, oh, I want to do that one as well. So I don't know. We'll see. I probably will proceed, because I was thinking, oh, maybe my next one I won't use gold.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really interesting because you don't really understand what you're doing until it's done. See, now that I'm looking at it, the lines you're only going to see in the lid, it seems. Here, and all the uprights as well. But in the body, they've been hidden with this sort of...
So it's like a rope bind.
like a herringbone stitch or some such thing. So you actually don't see it in the big box. Can you see that? It's like a herringbone stitch. Anyway, almost like a plait. Have I talked about this enough?
Is that the end of your cross-stitch themed works?
Yes, but I want to talk about my bag.
Okay.
I'm totally in that age group now where you buy things because you're nostalgic. Oh, and I'm running out as well.
Ooh.
I think I have another one. I got this in Peru years ago. Anyway, I bought this from the charity shop because it reminded me of a bag that I had when I was 16, and I went to university in Peru.
Pretty.
So cute. And you called it, you think it's a bath?
Sponge bag.
A sponge bag.
Yeah, or your toiletries bag that you'd put all your
Yeah.
bits and pieces in when you went travelling.
I was very happy. I invested. Oh yeah, that's right. That was my $7 expense at the op shop that I thought was excessive, but I bought like 4 good things.
Excellent.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's that. I think that's it for counted cross stitch.
Excellent. All right. What
I'm gonna
about
open my ginger
craft
beer.
pantry?
Right. I have loads of stuff. What have you got? You
Oh,
start.
I will start. So I made two small purchases from Country Stitch, which is a hand-dyed linen shop in New Zealand. This is, what is this? This is autumn time, and I bought this. It's a lovely greeny brown mottled fabric.
I read it as grey.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, isn't that funny?
Look, one of these things you can choose. You've got a browner side or a green/greyer side. This is 40 count Newcastle, and I'm going to do.
Oh yeah, it does have a green.
For both of these pieces are for the pin cushions from Stitchy Princess that I bought a couple of floss tubes ago, and this one is Forget Me Not, and it's a very pretty pale blue, less mottled than the other one.
I'll be back.
It's very pretty, so I'm quite pleased with those. They're both 40 count because I think I have decided that that is my jam. And yeah, now we just wait for Catherine to get back because she's not organised. There's a lot of dead space going on here, Catherine.
I'm trying to find those patterns that I bought. That pattern that I bought from Ukraine.
Oh, the birds.
Because I think they're so pretty. I was like, oh, they're too pretty not to show.
Yep.
But of course, it's a download, so I printed it out. And of course, I did show my Ooh La La book, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Please talk amongst yourselves.
I haven't got the Stitchy Princess ones to show to remind people, but so the green one is for the owls and the blue one is for the Arctic foxes. With that fabric that I have just bought.
I was actually having a tidy the other day.
Oh, have you tidied everything away and now you can't find anything?
Well, there is hope, but this is what happens when it's just a couple of
Do you want me to have a look?
No.
While you go through your...
No, because I've just realised this is nothing.
Ah.
This is interesting.
Show it next time.
I'll have to show it next time. If I find them and I can remember their name, I'll put it at the bottom of the chit chat thing. Whatever that's called.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's in here either. No. I mean, I do have a bag of stuff. So anyway, sorry, not here. Unless it is here. Unless it's this list. Oops.
There
it is. Yes.
I did see a cover page flash by.
I had discovered this designer ages ago and I had it pinned on Etsy as a favourite. Oh my lord, it's all wet here from the ginger beer. Non-alcoholic, of course. Okay, so the designer is called, oh my goodness. It is interesting because the pattern doesn't really have a lot. I think it doesn't even have her name. Can you see
I'll
if you
have a
can
look, see
find
if we
it?
can find something.
So even... Because I remember... Oh,
So there's a picture of it anyway.
Alright, so this is the picture of the patterns, which I thought was so adorable. And they're very little. So I really like the look of it because I love birds.
No, there is
But
no...
there is no name.
There's no name or what the pattern is called.
Just at the top here, nothing.
Nope.
What it is with DMC. This is so funny because when it came out, I haven't bought many downloadable patterns, and I remember thinking that it didn't feel as complete as some of the patterns. When you buy a pattern in paper, it seems to be full of stuff, information and whatnot. I'll have to check my email to see what it shows.
Did you show the picture?
Yes. So anyway, it's very pretty. I need to get around to doing that.
Excellent. So what else have you
So
been buying?
pantry. Okay, so the other thing that I found when I went online, op shopping, was this fantastic book. Max and I went to the op shops in North East Valley. And this is one of those plain grey books. But I just opened it at random and I was like, oh, I've got to buy this. So it's called The Art of Knitting. And so they show you some antique something and then like a modern take on things. So you get a couple of patterns. But they're kind of 70s in feel. But I thought that was fun. Like all the knowledge is there that you need. A Shetland vest, I suppose. A Fair Isle, yeah, from the Shetland Isles. And so you'll learn how they work and you can choose your modern aesthetic. So you don't have to choose these beiges and browns. But I really like that. It was kind of complete. So we've had 3 different countries now, and this is from the Aran Islands, which are exactly the same as they've always been. They make them in these creamy off-whites. Anyway, jeweled with beads.
You'd suit that.
Whenever. Yeah, maybe not now. But anyway, great fun book. I was like, oh, I can spend $2 on this. But I do enjoy it. There's quite a bit.
Quite a bit of text in it.
Quite a bit of history as well about the first knitted object that they found in the world and stuff. So very happy with this. But the other bit of excitement was that I went to Stitch Kitchen, which is it's a non-profit shop that sells donated textiles and textile products to keep them out of the landfill. Yeah. So I was like, would that be a word that they use everywhere?
I think so.
Like not to the dump. So they had a special sale, and because it was COVID times, I had to make a booking. So I made my booking, and I've only brought a selection of things that I bought. So there was quite a few fat quarters. There's also leftovers from people obviously doing some project. So you end up with the bits that they didn't want to use left over. And it was really reasonably priced. And then, so for example, a fat quarter-ish of quilting fabric was like $2, $3, or $7, depending on the size. But then it was buy one, get one free. So I bought a lot. Then I bought some fabric as well, because I thought I could make myself some blouses. So I do like polka dots. And these were cotton. And these were $10 each. So
there's a fair chunk in there too.
112 wide by 2 meters 10 length. So they were $10, but it was 2 for $10 during the sale. And it got this vintage. So this is going to be the back of a quilt, because it's just fabulous vintageness. Anyway, it's very reasonable. Oh, this is from another op shop. But I bought that. I bought self-covering buttons. No, not called self-covering, but
yeah, I think yeah,
covering buttons. You know, it's just a metal, and you just cover them and then clip them together. So I bought those, and I bought wooden buttons, and it was fabulous. I had a great time. And then the lovely thing is that when you get to the counter to pay, they weigh how much you buy, so that they can keep track of how many kilos of textiles they've kept out of the landfill, which makes you feel good.
Excellent.
Yeah. And I have started a wee project, which is adjacent to shopping. I'm starting a little half square triangle quilt for, well, this is for my friend in Mexico who's going to be a grandma this year.
Oh, lovely.
And it is, yeah, I mean, ostensibly it's for the grandchild, but really it's for my friend. And they can choose what to do. But I thought, well, they're in Mexico, right? Orange?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's got, I'm using lots of little florals in different colours, so I'm excited about this.
That's lovely.
Yeah. So that's that. But then I also bought this for $2. And to be honest, I don't know what it is. It could be linen. This doesn't help. It could be linen. It could be cotton, but it looks like linen.
It looks like linen to me.
And it's a massive, long cut. So
get a few table runners out of that.
and lots of small. So this is doubled. So this is double length. So that made me feel good because A, not in the landfill, but also it makes my craft a bit more reasonably priced. And it arrived in the post because I ordered a yard or a meter, I don't know what it was. And this I ordered from number 12 Stitch Co. And I ordered this in preparation for Consider the Lilies, which I'm going to dye myself. And of course this arrived about 5 days ago, but I couldn't dye it myself because my dyeing pot is in Waikouaiti. So I brought it home now. And now I have to wait for the weekend to have time to do some hand dyeing. But so I just ordered Zweigart 40 count plain white, and I shall show you what I do with it. I'm hoping to dye it with some New Zealand flax, so harakeke, because it's got lots of tannins and it'll give me a nice sort of browny. I want it to be quite mottled, but this is a massive cut, so I'm gonna do different things with it.
Yeah. Can you say what the second? Because I know at least 2 projects you're putting on there. Can you say what the second one is, or are you gonna wait?
I can't remember what I'm.
Okay, then don't worry about it. It'll be a surprise for you and everyone else.
No, you remember. What is it?
Dutch Beauty.
Oh, Dutch Beauty, yes. Oh, so yeah, I have ordered Dutch Beauty. I'm waiting for Dutch Beauty to arrive. That will be Dutch Beauty in a way you have not seen before. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm even coming around to the swans.
Ooh!
Because I think swans are kind of ugly in cross stitch.
Yeah, but I think that's part of their charm.
Yeah, but they're not quirky, they're just ugly. But now I'm thinking, oh, they're quite attractive. And it is funny because that's what happens when you watch lots of floss tubes.
Yep.
There are things that you're not interested in and suddenly you're like, well, that's nice.
Yeah.
In fact, I was watching Susan Stanley, A Stitch in Time, and I left her a comment. I do try and comment if I watch because it's nice. Even though I know some floss tubers get loads of comments and they just can't cope. But I left her a comment saying, it wasn't about the swans. I mean, the swans, because she's doing Dutch Beauty as well. Lots of people are doing Dutch Beauty at the moment. I think there's a sale going on as well. But I said, I'm more of an improv quilter, but she keeps showing these Civil War type quilts, and I'm like strangely drawn to them now. I mean, the thing is, beautiful work is beautiful work, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was actually interesting because she did say that she appreciated that the Civil War wasn't it was a very difficult period of history and bad things happened, but really good textiles came from that. And also she was talking about the comfort of textiles during times of crisis. So anyway, I think people in America have drank something in the water because there's a few groups of floss tubers that are doing these very complicated quilts at the moment as a quilt along.
Oh, okay.
Which are like a sampler quilt. I forget the names, but basically you buy the pattern because they're all pattern based, but you buy the pattern and it's a flipping book.
Oh.
And they talk about, you know, and this, as far as I can tell, the floss tubers that I've been watching are all machine quilters, so they do the patching by machine, and they're still talking about it will take 2 years to do this quilt. Yeah, so quite often they're machine quilters and then they get it machine quilted, and they still think it'll take a couple of years. So that's interesting. But yeah, that was fun. And actually, Susan did. So she was. I'm sure you all watch Stitch in Time. I really like it because she's got like bits of history that she attaches to the quilt.
Nice.
But she was saying that her father had passed away between floss tubes, and I think suddenly as well. But she's doing a sampler called something like Tom the Scot, something like that, or the Great Scot, something like that. Anyway, and she was doing it, and she was thinking about her father as she did it. Although she did say she was mostly holding it. And I said, that gave me the idea that I want to make a sampler, thinking about my mum.
Yeah.
But a sampler that is of my creation. So, you know, if you've ever sent me a message and I've replied to your message, you know I don't keep my sentences short. So I'm like, oh, thinking of doing you've just given me the idea of making a sampler to commemorate my mum, but with my things about her life, like create my own. And she said, oh, that would be such a good idea. I'm not sure if I would ever do it. And I was like, I would do it. I'm doing one related to New Zealand, but come and watch my floss tube. Sometimes I talk about it. And then I thought, oh, Susan, don't come. I don't even know how to count stitches. I laughed in my head.
Oh.
Anyway, but yeah, people should do. So if you watch us and you've made samplers of your own creation, incorporating things, or if you've heavily adapted a sampler, that would be interesting. Yeah, on purpose. If you've heavily adapted on purpose, that would be interesting. So anyway, yeah. So that's that. Now I went off at a tangent, didn't I?
Excellent. So what have you been crafting in your other crafting, your secret crafting life?
Oh, so I have some FFOs. So I finished my second cowl for my design. So I wanted to do 2. I'm going to try and put it on, and hopefully this won't come off. So this is my idea. I think on the 10 times a year that is very cold, like very, very cold in Dunedin for Chalmers, this is great.
Yeah.
Because you can put your coat on and this kind of stays around your face, and the fabric is kind of tight enough that it will protect you from the wind as well. So it's turned out exactly as I wanted it to.
Excellent.
I mean, I'm aiming to write the pattern, but if you're a knitter, this is not hard. Like, all knitters will know this. But I've incorporated some of my favorite stitches, which is like moss stitch and what's this one called?
Is it honeycomb?
Honeycomb, yeah, which I love. And I love cables, different cables, and a nice generous rib as well. So I finished that. I'm really happy with this. And then, continuing with the saga that is your child leaving home, will this ever end? My children might watch this in the future. I'm very happy for them to be living their own lives. It's great. But I had this star left from Christina's quilt, and I was going to try and do something with it, like so as not to waste it. Oh, the sky looks so pretty. It's kind of pink and
purple.
lilac.
Lovely.
Yeah, like your Narnia piece.
Yeah.
And suddenly, I don't know what I was watching or listening to, and it came to me that I should commemorate it and make it into a proper, actual piece of art that I'll hang on my wall. So I framed it in red because that's the colour of emotion, and I thought that was very pertinent. And I also put some little corners there. So my plan is to cut a chopstick down to size, and so I can hang it from the chopstick. You won't see the chopstick, it'll be like that. And this will go above my bed head in our bedroom in Waikouaiti.
Beautiful.
I'm very happy with this. And I signed it, as you should. And afterwards I was like, oh, you signed it on the wrong side. Normally I would sign it here at the bottom. But I signed it here, and then I decided it was a feature.
Nice.
As most things are. So anyway, I'm very happy with this. So that was that. I am still working on my crumb quilt, or what do you call it? You call it the crumble quilt.
The crumble quilt, yeah.
So I've got a couple more circles drawn out, so you can see how I've drawn out a circle. And I'm excited because this is a new circle. This is from a bowl that Christina and Sophia got me for my birthday one year. It's a handmade bowl from a pottery up in the North Island, I think. So I've got 2 circles, one here, one there. And you will see, because someone was asking, you know, I explain it all in the video and then someone asks, and it would be a faff to go back and check for people. So I've drawn my circle, and now I'm stitching. I'm doing a running stitch and a back stitch every so often.
And that's before you cut out the circle for the reverse applique.
Yeah, and then I'll cut it out. And I do that to make sure that my seams don't come apart. So every time I come across a seam, I do a backstitch.
Nice.
Partly because it's all handmade, so it does take longer, and you don't want things to start getting loose. That's annoying. I did about an hour and a half of ironing after work today because I was doing this, and then I was like, I'm sure I've got more of these, and I found loads. So I don't know, even if they're flat in a box, you just have to iron them again.
I thought about ironing my autumn Quaker, and then I was like, nah. Such a faff getting the ironing board out.
Yeah, but you will for framing.
Oh yes, yes.
When it comes to that.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, Floss Tube viewers, you didn't warrant an iron.
Not this time.
Not this time.
So what else have I been doing? Oh yes. Last thing. You'll be able to go to the toilet soon.
No, we've still got at least half an hour on Bridgerton.
I was talking to the viewers. You'll be able to go to the toilet. You're going to have a commercial break in a minute. So, oh yes, this was the other sale I was taking part in.
Ah, I thought that was your socks.
That was another one. I don't know what happened to me last fortnight.
You've suddenly become a joiner.
I know, but enough already. I've become a joiner, and I did lots of socializing. I went to a play. I forgot to say that. I went to a play, a one-woman show, which normally I love a one-woman show, and I did love it. It's called The Book Addict. And I also went to an Irish music night. Oh, I bet you would have enjoyed it, Kim. It was great. And of course, like most folk musicians, they can only play 12 instruments. That's how it runs. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So this was the other make-along that I was doing, which was the remake, recycle, reknit.
Yep.
So my slippers from a jumper that I bought from the charity shop to use the fabric.
Which she's wearing right now, so they're in and under.
The back of my foot.
Oh no.
But yes, I'm making another cardigan, and that was another knit along this time. And it's the same cardigan in effect as the yellow one. The only difference is, this is called a raglan. I'm sure there are knitters, like we're all like multi-crafters. But I've made this portion here a little bit smaller just to play around. So that's the shoulder, and that's the front. And this lace is called a lichen lace.
It's beautiful.
It's very pretty. I'm very happy with this. And I've already separated for the sleeves, and I'm on the body now. And on the back, it's the same lace, but I've done 3 repeats. And this is oh my goodness, I didn't do this today. This is a counting project.
Ooh, so you can count.
I can count when I want to, yeah. And the repeat is like 14 rows. I try and do 14 rows every day. I probably won't do it now because I'm tired.
Bit late.
At the end of the day, yeah. So yeah, I'm making loads of rows. And this was using it was called a cone-along, using woolly knit, which is a UK mill. They're somewhere in England, I think. It's a UK mill. Really great yarn. I'm very pleased with it. And this is called Wimbledon Green.
It's lovely.
Can't go wrong with a bit of Wimbledon Green. But it is, the colour's a little bit subdued for me, really.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's not neon, but it seems pretty bright to me.
Yeah, but bright for normal people, but not bright for me. Like, I normally have brighter colours, I think. This is subdued.
Maybe a shade bright, yeah.
So I was thinking it's an excuse for an orange shawl. So it'll be fine.
Brilliant.
Just one more book to talk to you about. So this author, Hannah Thiessen, this is her second book, I think. It's called Seasonal Slow Knitting. I think her previous book was called Slow Knitting, and I really like it. Not so much for the patterns, but for the essays. So I've perused through the book. I'm going to buy the book, even though I'm reading it. I'm going to buy it because I think it's just a beautiful thing
It's a lovely
to get into
book,
to get into the yearly rhythm of the seasons. So I've looked through it all, but I'm now reading about autumn and how we prepare for autumn.
Nice.
It's very lovely. I do recommend it. This is from the public library. Hurrah! So it's very good. But I've got like 5 things on the go by my bed, so I'm reading slowly.
Nice.
And I am reading... too many messages that I don't want to see. Okay. Last thing. Before Bridgerton. I've discovered this new author that was recommended to me by someone in my reading group. She's called Elizabeth Strout. Oh my giddy aunt. Amazing. So this is not a across the board recommendation, but if you're middle-aged, if you're a middle-aged woman, whether you're a woman or a trans woman or someone that identifies as a woman, whatever, if your experience is as a woman, you're going to love this. This writer is amazing. Such beautiful writing. So I'm listening to O. William now. But this is the third book of hers that I'm reading. So this is the follow-up to her, to Lucy Barton. So Lucy Barton was the first novel, and then the follow-up is O. William. It's so good. I really resented having to pause it because Martin came in the room. But it's just so good. It really, such an amazing way of explaining feelings, and just the nature of being human and a woman's experience and how you're touched by your experiences as a young person. Very good indeed. Great company for crafting.
Excellent.
I'm done.
Is this the craft portion of our Floss tube finished?
Well, it had other things in it. Yes.
Excellent. So, if you're really not interested in Bridgerton, bye. We hope you have a great fortnight, and we'll hope to see you again soon.
I do have to say, we don't have a lot to say about Bridgerton.
No, it's probably only going to be about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So, Catherine and I both watched Bridgerton on the day it was available for viewing in New Zealand, which of course is, because we're ahead of you or we're in the future, was the day after it was released.
See, I don't think that's even true. I was chatting with Ella, and I was like, I'm sure it's tomorrow, and she Googled it, and she was like, no, it's today. I was like, oh, earlier than I thought.
Yeah.
So I'm not really paying attention, but anyway.
So we both watched it, and
we both have read the books, all of them.
Yes, read the books before the things came out.
Way back.
Way back.
Before they were like...
No, in my high school days.
Option.
Yeah. So I think I am a little bit possibly controversial in my opinions of it.
Why?
I liked it better than the first season, and I don't think that will be a common opinion. And I don't know whether it was just because it's the place where I was when I was watching it, like in terms of where I am in my life and all that jazz, or whether I was just really in the mood for something light and airy-fairy.
Yeah, but they're both airy-fairy.
They are both airy-fairy.
Like, none of this is like hard-hitting stuff.
Yeah. And it could have just been because we knew the characters better.
What are my thoughts? My thoughts are that Bridgerton 1, I mean, I watched the first one like, if I say 55 times, I'm probably exaggerating, but ever so slightly. Watched it a lot of times. It's when you're crafting, like, it's just like noise in the background. What did I think? I did not like it as much as the first one. But now it feels like I didn't love the first one that much either. I think it's just receded into the background, into like, you know, it's in the category of kind of fluff anyway, so I don't have really strong feelings about it. I still think it's a great production. I really like the inclusivity of the actors. I like all that. And I really like how it made me question some of my pre-existing ideas about things, because I was very confused for the first half an hour of the first series.
Yeah.
I was like, because obviously my brain was going, all right, so you're a duke, but you're not like any duke that I've seen before, so I'm all very confused now. So that was really great. I really like to have my ideas shaken up a bit, so that was very good. I really like the actor, the Viscount in the second one.
Yeah, so this is another area that we finished. I preferred the heroine over the hero, whereas I think you liked the hero rather than the heroine.
Yeah, I think... I mean, she's never going to hear what I say, the actress, so I'm not going to hurt her feelings, but I just didn't think she was multifaceted enough. She just seemed, well, she certainly seemed damaged, and angry, but there wasn't this other side to her that was kind of passionate and sort of dramatic. It all just seemed.
Oh, see, I didn't get that at all.
I mean, we are very different people, both of us, so
yes,
we're looking for slightly different things.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think also...
But considering, like we said, it really is a bit of fluff, we both have very, very differing and strong opinions on this.
Yeah. I mean, the costumes are stunning.
Yeah. I can't wait for Benedict's story. I really, really fell in love with the Benedict actor.
Oh, which one's Benedict?
He's the second brother. So he's the artist.
Oh, okay.
Can't wait for the third season. I'm ready to go.
I think part of the thing as well is that, as I keep banging on about, like, I'm going to be 50 soon. Mm-hmm. It's like I kind of feel like, oh, children. There is an element of like, oh my God, I'm so glad I've got my life together. Although there were elements of every so often I would say to Martin, because the poor man was sleeping, of course, because I watched half on the night when it came out.
Oh, did you watch the night? I just waited till Saturday.
And then the other half in the morning of the day after. So Martin was asleep, and every so often I would obviously disturb him because I didn't have my headphones in. I was just like...
You were just being inconsiderate all
As always. Every so often Martin would be like, can you put headphones on because that voice is very grating from like a podcast or a Floss tube or whatever. I'd be like, oh, that's interesting. But normally he doesn't care. As soon as his eyes are closed, he's asleep. But anyway, I'd be like, oh my God, I think I was a nightmare for the first 5 years that we were together. And he's very generous because he's like, you were young. But yeah, I'm watching these characters be really ridiculous. And it's like, oh God, children, you're so young.
Oh, that's half the fun.
But yeah, great costumes. I actually really like the character of the mother.
Yes.
Because I think she's more of my generation. I kind of feel like, yeah, we could have a cup of tea and have a chat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I really like...
I liked the changes that they'd made from the book to help pad out some of the secondary characters. But that was great. There was one thing in the book that I thought they only just touched on it, and Catherine thought that they didn't. What did you think? So, spoiler alert. In the book...
Yeah. Spoiler alert. If you don't want any spoilers, see ya.
See you now. Yeah, come back once you've watched it or once you've read the books. Yeah. So in the book, my interpretation of it is that Anthony didn't want to get married for love because he was convinced that he was going to die before he turned 40, which was the age his father was when he died. So
that is very clear in the book.
That is very clear in the book. So he doesn't want to have his partner or his wife go through what his mother went through.
Yes.
But you felt it was a bit different in the movie. Other than the fact that they didn't state that he was convinced he was going to die before he turned 40, I thought, in my mind, that's how they played the storyline out.
Yeah, it was different. In the book, it was very clear and very emphatic, and they go on about it.
Yeah, they do.
In the adaptation, it seemed to me it was more that he was more concerned that he didn't want his wife to go through that.
No, yeah, that's what the book says. I thought you thought that he didn't want to go through that pain if he lost his wife.
No, it was the other way around.
Okay, then we were talking at cross purposes for an awfully long time.
Can I just say, I love these moments because Victoria always seems like the really accommodating person in the relationship.
Yeah.
And every so often you feel so strongly about things that we end up talking at cross purposes. And later on, when things calm down, you're like,
oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. So, I think in the adaptation, they don't spell out that he's worried that he's going to die by the age of 40.
No, they don't touch on that bit at all because it's hard to convey.
But he's concerned that his wife's going to be destroyed if he dies.
Yes.
Whilst in the book, it's very much like, I don't want to die by 40. That would be a disaster.
Yes.
Like,
he was convinced.
It's all horrid if that happens.
I think is quite a common thing for a lot of people.
What?
That if the parent dies young, not a lot of people, but I think it is a thing where people don't think they'll outlive the age their parents passed away at.
Oh yeah, I mean trauma does all sorts, doesn't it?
It'll be interesting to see which sibling they do for the next season, because I have read online that they aren't necessarily going to follow the order of the books.
Well, they've already jumped around.
Yeah.
But I really like the character of, I can't remember what her title is or her name.
What does she do?
She is the Duke's like adoptive mother. The black woman.
Yes, she's
has
actually
the
his aunt.
turbans
Yes,
and-
she's brilliant. She's all attitude.
Yes, and she uses
Yes.
a cane.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
I really like her. I could have a coffee with her. I thought she was
Yep.
great. The Queen's entertaining.
I'm quite interested to see what they're going to do with Eleanor's story, because they are pivoting away from that character quite a bit, changing her up.
Can you hear the investment? Like
Oh.
she's used the word pivoting.
I read these because I read an awful lot of bodice ripper books in my high school. That's how I got through high school. And
She says
this was
that.
one of my favourite series.
Even last week.
Oh no, but I was reading, if there is such a thing, I was reading proper bodice ripper literature, which is like, you know, proper published novels. Well, they're all published novels. No, I just read rubbish off the internet.
Oh, okay. I haven't read a full-on romance for a while. For like a while. I grew up reading romances, and I went through a period of like bad stuff happening in life, like deaths and stuff.
They're pure escapism, aren't they? It's wonderful.
And it was just such a comfort to me that everything would be okay at the end. I think subconsciously I wasn't even aware of this, but looking back, it was like, well, that's what you were doing. Because normally I read like really heavy literature where, you know, it's all about discussing bad stuff in the world, like Ian McEwan. You know, like really serious stuff that challenges you mentally, and you never know how it's probably going to end badly, because that's what literature does, like Booker Prize winners and that sort of thing. But I've tried to read. I've got a couple of favorite authors, but I just haven't got back into them.
I've got favourite authors from that time that when I go back to reread them, I was like, why are you reading these? These are... It's good.
I mean, but because part of the thing is like, if you've read them, rereading is not as engaging.
No, that's true, but I reread a lot of books of
Do
all
you?
different genres. I've always been a rereader.
You see, I haven't. I've only just started entertaining the idea of rereading. Because someone in my reading group said, but you're never going to be able to read all the new books, so you might as well reread the ones you loved. So I've always reread Jane Austen.
Yeah.
I haven't done that for a few years, but yeah, I was a rereader of Jane Austen. But anyway,
We really enjoyed it. If you watched season 1 and you enjoyed it, watch season 2. You'll get something out of it.
let us know what you think. That would be interesting. I did think, what was the name? Sorry, I'm terrible with the names. What's the name of the character that doesn't want to, like, has come out into society, but she doesn't really want to partake?
That's Eleanor.
Right, Eleanor. They made a caricature out of her inability to just enter society gracefully.
Yes, they did.
You know, her acting, and I think she's a great actress, but her acting has been instructed to be,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, please.
Yeah. They're trying to give back her the opposite of what Daphne, not Daphne. Who was the first one? That was Daphne.
Daphne, yeah.
Yeah, Daphne was last season.
And interestingly, of the entire set of novels, because I reread them just before, I reread them last year when the Jew thing came out. I reread them. Actually, Eleanor's story in the book was my favourite.
But I don't think, I agree, it's a good story. But I don't think they'll follow that storyline to a T, because it happens.
Because they're going to pivot.
They're going to pivot, because a lot of that story happens outside of the town and away from London without her family. And they won't do that for a season.
Oh, no, but I think what they'll do is that you'll get little snippets of, because they do disappear to
true,
the
they
country
do,
and stuff.
they do.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm very happy that they've got the first, 4 seasons are all greenlit, so we've got at least another 2.
Oh my God, how much have you been reading about this?
I'm just looking up for the dates for the release of season 3. They haven't got those out yet.
I'm waiting for Grace and Frankie. I'm actually just waiting for stuff.
Grace and Frankie's at the end of the month, or beginning of April.
No, that was supposed to be later.
No, it's coming.
Okay.
When we finish, I'll look up Netflix and I'll tell you.
No, because I looked it up, and it said something like, anyway, it doesn't matter. But I had 3 things I was waiting for, and I can't remember what the third one was. But basically, I have too much free time, and I run out. I constantly live in a state of run out. And sometimes you're not in the mood for a novel. You want to watch something. So,
great show to watch while you're stitching.
oh my god, an hour and 24 minutes. Yeah, I think what happened as well is that I got a bit tense. I don't know why I got a bit tense, so I didn't, and this happened last time as well. I will take in the details about the costumes and the music on the second and third watching, because the first time is just about the story, and then I will probably really enjoy the costumes later on.
They had some beautiful stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, great.
Have a great fortnight. Happy stitching.
Yes, have a good fortnight, and we shall see you when we're back here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.